G'day and welcome to the Tradies Review, the show where I save you time by researching tools that are beneficial to the trade industry. I'm Bryn Harwood, and in this episode I'm chatting with Matt Perrott from Buildpass. Thanks for coming along, Matt.
No worries, happy to be here.
Awesome. So what is Buildpass?
Yeah, so Buildpass is a construction management platform built for builders to manage construction sites. So we help with their health and safety, quality assurance and project management.
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your interests and your journey.
Yeah, cool. So I'm a Melbourne boy, born and bred. Growing up, like to spend a lot of time down at the beach, surfing when I can. Being in Melbourne, it's very cold, so winters, pretty thick wetsuit on. But yeah, outside of that, I grew up, I always liked the construction industry, did a bit of labouring on construction sites and things before I went off to uni and got more involved in the tech space.
Right. And so Buildpass, like what exactly is it and what does it do?
Yeah, so what we do is we help builders put all of the things that they need to do on a construction site into one platform. So we like to think of it as a site manager's best friend. Health and safety, so SWMs and inductions and all of those things that often don't get done so well, we make that really easy. We make sure things like managing defects and quality inspections can also be done through the same platform. And then just progress tracking as well, making sure that you're taking photos of the site, putting it into site diaries, tracking who's there, managing all the trades who are on a site. We just make that really simple by putting it into one app.
Yep, so everything health and safety and all in one spot essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So our bread and butter is health and safety. It's obviously a really important thing in the construction industry, so that's our core. But it makes sense to us to be able to do other things inside of that same platform rather than having different apps for different things. You've got 10 different apps and it's just overwhelming. A site manager can use one tool to do all of the things that they need to run that construction site.
Right. And Matt, I'd been reading and I looked when I was researching and I saw that you'd raised some capital. You want to tell us a little bit about that process and how that looks?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So what we did is we went out to private investors. So people in the construction industry especially who understood the problem that we were solving for. Also some tech investors as well. And we went out and essentially when raising capital, you give a portion of your company to those investors. They buy into the company. And yeah, so we've got a few great investors on our capital table.
Yeah, right. And is that does that make it onerous for you? Like you're reporting to somebody else, or is it just something that they're working with you and you're on the same team, or how does it kind of look on an operational perspective?
Yeah, we're lucky to have really good investors who are happy to help us out and talk with us and guide us through things, but also aren't there to control the company. So that's what our job is. We report to them, we do monthly updates, and obviously when you take on someone else's money, you become even more careful about where you're spending it as well. But overall, it's been pretty easy to manage having investors.
So back to the product, like the health and safety, it's a pretty complex kind of environment. How does the software help work around that?
Yeah, so what we do is we put a system in place so that you know what you need to do and that anyone who comes into your company can follow that same system. So to give you an example, when workers come onto a construction site, the legislation says that you need to know who that worker is, what licenses they have, so do they have a white card, they need to be inducted into that site. If they're doing high-risk work, they should have SWMs or safe work method statements. And these are all things that are really important from a OH&S Act point of view and to have that documentation in place. But builders are so busy and to actually be across all of this amongst all the other things that they need to do is quite a nightmare. So what we've done is we allow builders to put a system in place and you can cover off on all of these things in a digital way as well. So there's not going to be lost paperwork or anything like that. It's all just on your phone, stored in the cloud, never going anywhere.
And I guess what I've noticed with some people is they have a lot of different apps that solve, I guess, one problem, or there might be problems, but there's multiple apps. Yeah. How do you kind of overcome that challenge for the...
Yeah, it is a big problem. And I think for people in the construction industry, if you go on Google and search for different apps, there's so many out there, it's almost hard to choose. So we see people who are running one app for their health and safety, one for their defects, one for their inspections, one for their site diaries. There's a range of different things. What we've decided to do is put all of that into one. In our opinion, it makes sense to be able to do all of those from the one app, because they can all talk to each other as well then. So that's kind of how we help out in that space.
Yeah, and I guess like when you're dealing with builders or commercial contractors or these kind of guys, they're generally fairly time poor, aren't they? Like they don't have time to be running around and doing these and searching for this. So how do you kind of assist in that process with these kind of time poor entrepreneurs, I guess you'd say?
Yeah, building is a rapid, fast-paced industry, and builders need to do so many different things, right? And so what we think is really important is the tools that they're using have to be very user-friendly and just easy to use without too much training. So we like to think of our software as being as easy to use as something like social media. You should just be able to pick it up and start using it and not have to worry about getting yourself trained or being a tech expert to use a complicated product. We like to solve that by making it super user-friendly and easy to use.
Matt, I'm noticing like a lot of people in the construction industry now are becoming a lot more tech focused than maybe they were, 10, 15 years ago. How does that kind of evolution look, with regards to your product?
Yeah, it's awesome to see that people are realizing that tech can make a difference in their business. So that's great. We like to slot in there by saying we have built, again, something that's super easy to get up and running with, minimal training time, and like I said before, combining a lot of those different areas into one platform so that when people are thinking about implementing technology into their business, they don't have to go and implement 5 different systems. They can implement ours along with maybe one other.
Yep. And when you say you implement that, what other products on the market, do you provide APIs to, so you can, sync into those without any challenges, I guess, without a manual download and a manual upload?
Yeah, so where we have an open API that people can sync into, so the data can talk with other platforms out there. We work with other great tools. We work with Procore, NextVR, BuildExact, Xero is on our expansion trajectory. So yeah, lots of different tools that we work with.
All the big names in the market, basically.
Yep.
And obviously there's competitors in this space, in the health and safety space. So, how's your product different than some of the competitors that are offering the health and safety product?
Yeah, again, it comes back to that ease of use and the fact that it's a new product that's been built literally in the last 18 months. And we have predominantly hired software engineers and designers here locally to focus on the product. So we don't have a big sales team. And so we've got really new software and we've got an excellent team that's developing it every day. We work really closely with all of our customers. I'm personally getting out and meeting with heaps of different of our customers to hear about what they want in a tool. So we consider ourselves more of a software partner to the building industry than just another health and safety product.
And so I guess having that development team onshore, you're able to, as you say, work with the client, and if there are things that need to be updated, you could do that faster than some that would probably put it on the roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. And look, if it's a small thing that's really impactful, we can literally turn that around overnight, and we love doing that. Someone will put a piece of feedback in and I can message them the next morning and say, hey, check your platform, it's done. So obviously we can't do that with everything, and we do have a prioritization process, but compared to a lot of other tools out there, because we are really nimble and we're local, we can make changes really quickly and we evolve with the industry.
Right. And what are the next steps? I want to jump on board. How does that look? Do I do a demo? Is there a sales team? What are the next steps if I want to jump on board with Buildpass?
Yeah, so just go on our website and you can request a demo. We'll do a demo via Zoom or in person with our team based in Melbourne. And then from there, if it looks like a good fit, then we can get you set up straight away.
Matt, thanks for joining us today and telling us what Buildpass is.
No worries at all, it's been great.
If you want to know more about Buildpass or any of the reviews, click the links below. Thanks, Matt.
No worries, mate.
If this content was helpful for your business, make sure you hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the notification bell. That way you'll get notified whenever I post a video.